It's basically just a web browser type application. I'll show it up here. I'm lame. I just use root tour for my login, so I never forget it. Anyway, so here's the interface. You just log in. You create a user. Anyway, so this is fairly nice. Something that's useful for this that Dave was talking about earlier is once we grab our hash with a hash dump, we could actually put it in here and we could scan entire subnets with that PS execute exploit, and it would give us, however many shells were vulnerable across the network. So if you got 254 machines on your network and they all use the same admin password, once I had the admin hash, I could effectively own all the machines. I see you. So anyway,
it's 640 under my control, and so you can actually it'll show you the interface of all with the Metasploit, which is really nice.
So all you want to do is just create a project name, create a network range, and then you want to create the project. This also integrates perfectly, of course, with Nexpose, since they're both Rapid7 projects. I'll plug that too. If you wanted to, you would have to have Nexpose installed, I think. But if you wanted to, there's 3 different things you can do. The first thing you can do is scan, which is basically an Nmap scan. So we're going to do that, and then maybe I'll talk about it some more. It's generally good to exclude your own address, but I'm not going to, so oh well. So you can set the port scan speed. Since we're all friends here, we'll do insane. So then you just hit scan. If you had an SMB hash, for example, you could put it right here, or an SMB. So we would put administrator and whatever that hash is that we got from the administrator console. So then you just hit scan. Then what happens is you get a task list, comes up over here, and this is basically just host discovery, because when you actually run the exploit part, you probably want to trim down. You don't want to just bash at the whole entire subnet, unless you really don't like the company, I guess. But anyway, so, and then you can go over here to overview. It'll say scanning, and you can go over here to host. This is really easy to use. I don't have any results yet, but this may take a second. And of course, there's the progress. So then, the kind of way you would do this is you would do the scan. So, wow, a lot of people didn't unplug their computers. So anyway, I got 31 hosts discovered. It's going to tell me the amount of services. The next thing I would want to do is I would want to go to Nexpose, and I would want to kind of trim down my list and see if I could find any exploits that match that system. This might take a minute. Hope everybody knows. We got 15 minutes, I guess. It'll look cool when it's done, I promise. This is still in beta, but it's going to, at the same time Metasploit 3.4 comes out, this is going to come out. If you're interested in it, it's $3,000 for a yearly license. But it also comes with support from the actual creators of Metasploit. They have an IRC channel on the free node network in Metasploit. You can go in there, and they're nicer about questions than I am.
Unless you mention backtrack.
Unless you mention backtrack, of course. Then you're in good shape.
Why do you have a problem with questions?
Say what? If you don't keep the channel on topic, it gets all out of hand. Start talking about the club in Fiji last night and everything else. Anyway, so as you can see, I got 91 services detected. Oh, it's not taking too long. I'm 88% done. The one special VM I had is one that I mentioned earlier, is one that HD Moore gave me. It's actually got 4 really obscure vulnerabilities. So he says. I was only able to make one of them work, but he claims that 4 of the services on there are vulnerable. So if he says they are, they are. Who am I to say they're not? So I'm not going to go through the Nexpose part, but Nexpose actually has a free community edition, so you don't have to pay for that. You can download that. It's a vulnerability scanner, along the same lines as Nexus and Nessus, or however you say it, and some of the other ones. Generally, you would probably want to use a couple of them, but if you're going to use something like this Metasploit Express, it's better to use this one because it's already integrated. The coolest thing about this is the report, which I'd like to show you at the end. This is just This does not take the place for real penetration testing and real exploit development. However, this can dramatically speed up some of the processes, and it also makes this really cool report that you can give to the CEO and look cool without a lot of paperwork. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to hit the exploit button. So here's all my target addresses. Now once again, I would generally, if I went down this list and I saw, I don't really want to attack Dave's machine, which I do, but anyway, so I would exclude his address or my own address or whatever. Another thing you can set is what Dave was talking about earlier is now the exploits actually have ratings. So like low means it probably never works, it crashes the box. Normal means 1 out of every 5 times it crashes the box. Excellent means that generally works every single time. So you can set that. The problem with setting low is that, of course, you're going to bring down half the network. So we're just going to do good, for example. You can do the number of concurrent exploits. I haven't really played around with this all this much, so we'll just leave it at the default. You can only get 1 shell on each box, but that's no fun, so we'll uncheck that. You can ignore the known fragile devices. I really haven't investigated that, but I assume it just does that by OS detection, but we'll uncheck that. That's not fun. And then you want to skip exploits that do not match the OS so we don't waste a bunch of time. And then you literally just hit the exploit button. And it's all automated. So unfortunately this might take a minute since there's 971 possible exploits. So hopefully I'll get a shell off one of these boxes so I can show you what it looks like. Did I get one?
Yeah.
So once you get one, you go into here in the Sessions tab. See, so this is the VM that HDM gave me called Metasploitable. So it's less than a minute old. Oh, there's another one. So, and it tells you what the exploit is that got it. So we'll let that run for a minute, see if we get a few more. So far, these are all RVMs, so everybody's in good shape.
Yeah, until it gets to the end, half the people are.
Well, anyway, since we're running out of time, we'll just go. You can interact with the session. Oh, there's another. Uh-oh. Oh, that might be mine. Anyway, so for example, you can interact with the session. Uh-oh. So you can hit session 3, and then you can see there's a variety of options. Like I may just want to collect the system data, which is similar to that WinEnum script. This would be a good thing to not touch the disk. This will give me a virtual desktop, which is like our desktop. The problem is that it will alert the user. We can just access the file system. Like I said, you're totally in memory until you change a file, and then you are no longer in memory. We can just get a plain old command shell. So we'll just do that just to show what it looks like. So then it opens up this neat thing, and it gives us a Meterpreter DLL. We can hit the PS command like we did. Then we might want to migrate to Explorer. We'll just, here, notepads right there, so we'll migrate to that. Anyway, and then you can do all the same. Then you can do all the same interpreter commands that you've been doing. Hash dump or upload or whatever you want to do. And so you can background it, for example. And what's cool is these all open up in different tabs. So now I can go back over here, and I can go back to my Sessions tab, and at the same time I can open a session on this box, for example. See what kind of options I got. I haven't actually done this collect system data, so let's try it, see what happens.
If you go to the main page, you can actually hit collect, and it'll do it for all of them. So when I had 600 machines in my control, I hit collect. It collected all the information from all of them. So it does actually screen dumps and everything in the system. So
oh, cool.
Pretty wicked.
All right, so it looks like we can, like I said, I haven't played with this. So we can collect the system information, passwords, screenshots, SSH keys. Let's just get it all. What the heck? So I'm going to collect the data. and I'm assuming that it gives it back to us in a nice file. See if the report's ready yet. Now, this is the part that I really like, is that you can generate a report, and you can generate this based on a lot of different things. An executive summary, a large report, a report focused on the network services. So we want to show our boss we did a good job, so we'll give him the fancy executive report. So addresses to include, so we want to include them all. If we just wanted to do a report on one host, we would do that. So here's the host summary. It tells whether we compromised it or not. It tells how many vulnerabilities. If we would have run an expose, we probably would have got a lot more vulnerabilities. Shows all the host names, the OSs. I ran it at my store. It was pretty smart on Cisco and all the different things that I had in my store. So the OS detection was pretty good. Anyway, so go back to reports. So I guess that's about it. If anybody's interested in seeing it any more, I can show you later. I haven't looked at this modules tab.
Just exploit list.
Is that just the exploit list? Okay, so you would go to modules if you just want to find more information about each exploit. All right, that's it. Thank you.